Hold on to your diapers because Bandai has just made some announcements, and you know what that means? That means new GUNPLA. And it seems like Master Grade ain't dead yet. Now, we've known about the narrative for some time, but some more has come out about it, and it's looking to be an absolutely ridiculously awesome kit. We've got some more, including a new Master Grade Sinanju Stein, a bunch more GUNPLA, and other Bandai model kits as well. Now, I will mention all of these are available right now to pre-order on Hobby Link Japan, and as always, you need to get your pre-orders in very quick if you do actually want to get these in the first batch release. So the link is down there in the description. Jump in, grab them now, but let's talk about what Bandai has announced. So as usual, I get all of the information right here from the Bandai Hobby site itself. So they did their announcements earlier on today, about 4 hours ago, no, maybe a little bit longer, about 10 or so hours ago, so when I was sound asleep. But we've got quite a few things here, some of which is very interesting, some not so much. So let's go from least interesting to most interesting and leave that narrative to last. But let's blast on through. So jumping on over to the Bandai Hobby site, I will throw the link to this as well down there in the description if you want to take a look on through yourself to see when everything is coming out. So first off, we've got a bunch of new items for next year between April and June, it seems. We've got a bunch of things, and let's start with this over here, the least interesting of them all. Bandai are releasing a bunch of more Idol Master kits.
No one gives a shit!
Yeah, that's true. On to the next stuff. So next up in here, we've got some 30-minute missions announcements. First off in here, we've got some, well, I suppose these came out before. We've got the River Nova and the Garden Nova. Both of these came out before, just in the opposite colors. Now one's green instead of brown, and one's brown instead of green. So we do have a brand new 30-minute missions mech announced. Sadly, this right here is nothing to do with the upcoming 30-minute missions Armored Core Shadow, I nearly said it again, Fires of Rubicon Mecha releases. This right here is just another standard 30-minute missions one, but this one looks pretty cool. It's bulky, it does have a little bit of an almost front mission kind of feel about it, and overall looks pretty cool. We get a little Roy in there with some skinny little legs, and overall it just looks like a nice mecha. This costs about 1,628 yen and is coming out in April. There are two colors of this coming out, so we've got a gray one, which you just saw, and a brown one as well. So two colors to mix and match with other colored X-Max out there, and overall looking pretty cool. For me, definitely has to be that cool gray one. We have an option set coming out at the exact same time as these because it is designed with them in mind. We've got some kind of grabby pliers looking arms, some interesting launchers, as well as some big legs. So there is some great customizable aspects to it, and this comes in at 1,188 yen, and this will be coming out 2 months after that particular kit in June. So that is it for the 30-minute missions kits. On to the other Bandai Plow that's coming out. So these are from a bunch of different IPs, and we might as well start at the bottom of the list right here. In April, for 770 yen, Bandai is releasing a brand new action base. Now this is more so like some of the action bases we would have seen recently. So it's almost like a action figure stand, something you'd see with Figma or something similar. Actually, this is very similar to what I use all the time, which is Good Smile Company's Simple Stand. This is big and has screws in it, and is considered for 1/100 kits. If this does actually work, it might be an unprecedented level of invisibility to your actual 1/100 scale stand, and it does look pretty cool. This is one I'm looking forward to. So once again, this is out in April at 770 yen, so cheap. Very cheap. So I don't know if any of you guys are into building these Dinosaur plastic model kits by Bandai. I have a couple on the shelf I really need to get around to. These are called Planosaurus, which is a kind of a funny name, and we've got a bunch already. There's a T-Rex out there. What I have on the shelf is a Mosasaurus by the looks of things, looking over my shoulder, but this right here is a Gigantosaurus or a Gigantosaurus. I'm not sure what these are like, but there it is. Dinosaur, 1,500 yen, out in April. For those of you who like your Pokeplow, we've got one coming out in April at a very super cheap 715 yen, and this right here is Sprigatito. So these don't really do anything, they're just cute, small, easy to build. Next one. Next up, coming out in June at 3,520 yen, it's another Ultraman kit. This is Ultraman GED Primitive. Definitely a little spicier price-wise than what we've seen so far announced, and this comes in at 3,520 yen. Coming out in April, we've got a Camon Rider kit. I know absolutely nothing about Camon Rider, so this says here, Camon Rider Kiba form. 4,400 yen, and like I mentioned, out in April. For fans of the manga and anime of Kaiju Number 8, there's 2 kits incoming. First up is the figurized standard Kaiju Number 8 himself. This is coming out in April at 4,950 yen. This is around the $36 mark. I keep forgetting to actually mention it in non-yen prices, 33 euro. And all I can say is these figurized standard kits in general are fairly awesome. A great alternative to action figures at usually a fraction of the price. This looks pretty cool. I haven't checked out Kaiju Number 8 myself yet. I more than likely probably should. But yeah, like I mentioned, out in April. The second figurized standard from Kaiju Number 8 is the figurized standard Kikoru Shoma. This one is out in June at 4,620 yen, which is about $34. We've got face options and weapons inside of the box. From one anime girl figure to another, this one is from Sensuality Noir, and this is Ellie. This looks like it has a whole bunch of different options inside the box. Just reading off the list right here, we've got a jacket, a pouch, an apron, face parts by 3, hand parts, display base, and apparently there's some stickers in here too. So this is out in April and exactly the same price as the last figure we saw at 4,620 yen, so about $34. So moving back towards some more mecha kits, and what we've got right here is the high-grade amplified Ign Ryu Maru. So this is pretty much like we would have seen before with this kit right here. It was a very, very nice mecha model kit, and this is just a different variant of it, a different form. Again, this right here isn't an IP I'm all that familiar with, so it's not much for me to say here, so moving on. So next up in here we do have another Macross kit. I've built one of these so far, they're quite nice, but this one right here is the 1100 high-grade VF19 Fire Valkyrie with sound booster. Now, out of all the Macross kits I've seen so far, this is definitely one of the most unique, especially when it comes to the color layout. This pretty much looks like it's a parts variant from what I can see of the YF19 we would have taken a look at not so long ago, and it seems like inside the box we've got the sound booster, speaker bot, some stickers, as well as some landing gears. This is a parts former, so it does mean it doesn't actually transform seamlessly. You do have to pull out parts, attach parts on, but this is coming out in May at 5,500 yen, which is about $41, or at least it is from HobbyLink Japan. Next up is another release, a high-grade release from Votoms. This is another one of these scope dog kits, but it seems to have a bunch of parts attached, and is called the, and I shit you not, the high-grade burglary dog. This is coming out in May as well at 3,850 yen, or around $30 or so. Moving down to some Kyokai Senki or Amame Warrior, and this is one I am super excited about. This is a version of the Bunyip Boomerang. This is one of those mecha kits that doesn't matter if you like Kyokai Senki, Amame Warrior or not, it's just such a cool kit with a kind of a Metal Gear vibe about it. What they've done here is given it a bit of an overhaul. So now this one has some white armor that looks a lot more techno. It actually has a little bit of a 30-minute missions kind of look to it. This is just such a cool looking grunt mecha. It's got missile launchers, Gatling guns, some cool shields, and this is a nice looking mech. These are decently sized too, so they're not as small as high grades usually are. This is coming out in June at 3,300 yen, and one I'm definitely excited about. Once again, as for the HobbyLink price, it cost about $24. The next Amame Warrior kit that we're going to be getting is this right here, which is the Aon Rhino. Now, this just looks like another one of these Brady kind of suits that we've seen time and time again. It's in green, and I don't even know what to say. It looks like we've seen it before. Coming out in May, 2,750 yen, just under $20 from HLJ. In April, at 3,520 yen, we've got an option set. This is option set 8. Now, I have to check. Does this actually come with the truck? Because if it does, I am super excited. I love these Kyokai Senki trucks. They're so cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it actually comes with the truck. I'm hyped. I need a few of these, not just the one. So this is coming out in April. It's 3,520 yen. That is $25 off of HobbyLink. And if this is even half as good as the last truck, I am super hyped. So the next thing we have is a variant of the Proto Goyo, this right here being the actual Goyo, the Goyo Custom. This is something we've seen time and time again. There's nothing really different besides the color. It's a variant going back all the way to the Byakuchi. This is 2,640 yen. coming out in April. That's about $19 off of Hobby Link, and that's a whole lot of nice mecha model kit for a very good price. If you've never tried these, I do recommend. Very, very nice. But yes, on to what is really important, and that of course is the new GUNPLA coming out between April and June of next year. So let's check it out. Some of which is awesome, some of which is simple enough but cool. And first off, we do have some new hands coming out. This is always very, 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 very nice. One thing that I always complain about with some kits releases is they don't come with enough hands. But once again, Bandai is releasing some hands. It looks like we're getting round classic style and square, more modern Gundam looking style. So these are incredibly cheap, so that is 660 yen, and it looks like we're getting multiple pairs, so that is what we are seeing right here. So in small, we've got widespread, holding, and fists, medium being exactly the same trio, and large being exactly the same trio. These ones right here, of course, are the kind of squared type fingers, and this is something I recommend buying a whole bunch of. These are also jointed at the wrist by the looks of things. Am I mistaken? Do these have wrist joints? They definitely seem to. It's kind of hard to tell. They look a little bit angled on the F91 right there. Yeah, these are nice. These are something every builder needs a whole bunch of. Shut up. Duck over there. Shut up. We need some hands. So the second set of hands in here are the roundy type fingers. As you can tell from this image right here, slow internet, come on. Right here, that these are the kind of old school kind of Gundam hands with the kind of rounded fingers, just like you're seeing on the Oryx 78-2 in the front right there. This, of course, is usually the Zeon style hand, or anything, well, any mobile suit Zeon tends to have these roundy type fingers. Once again, these are exactly the same as what we would have seen before, so that is small, medium, of large, small, medium, of large, small, medium, large, and that is widespread hands, holding hands, and fists. And once again, those are definitely articulated wrists on the widespread ones. A little bit hard to tell on the other ones, but I think they might be. That is extremely nice. I'm going to get 15 of each. So next up in here, and it seems like we're getting some expansions for using with the entry grades, I think. By the looks of things here, for with the entry grade Strike Gundam. So that is the Ale Striker pack and the various different Sword Striker and Launcher Striker packs. The Ale Striker costing 1,210 yen, that is out in May. So this does what the Ale Striker pack does. It just pops on the back of the Strike Gundam, and it seems like we've got multiple attachment points. This is very important. So joint 1 will attach onto the Strike and various seed high grades that use Striker packs. Joint 2 means that you can use this with your standard high grade Gundams too. That is definitely cool by Bandai. That isn't the only thing in here. We get a simple version of the Grand Slam, an interesting beam rifle, as well as a bazooka. So there's quite a bit going on here. Also, there is that little battery pack attachment point. So that does mean attaching this and the sword and launcher at the same time means you can have yourself an entry grade perfect Strike Gundam. 1,200 yen means it is $9.15 of HLJ. For the exact same price, but coming out in June, is the Launcher Striker and the Sword Striker. So the launcher being the launcher, the sword being the sword, they do what we would have seen before, but these will work with your entry grade Strike Gundam. So let's see if there's anything interesting in here. There's definitely different backpacks, so you can use these with other kits out there, various different joints, to make sure the compatibility is there for with other kits. It doesn't, let's see, what's it saying here? Yeah, basically so you can attach these onto the backpacks of either the Strike Gundam, Strike variants, or onto standard Gundam kits. Very nice. Onto an actual Gundam kit, and coming out in June at 1,980 yen is the SD Gundam Cross Silhouette Gundam Calibarn. Now this is pretty cool. Honestly, you know, kind of goes without saying that it would be nice to see a master grade SD instead, but this still looks really nice. So this is a cross silhouette, so it does mean it has actual joints in its elbows and its knees. That seriously does depend on if the cross silhouette parts are included or not. Let's see. From the blurb right here, it kind of implies that the cross silhouette frame is in here, but it is a little bit hard to tell. By the looks of the pictures though, it is. So once again, out in June, 1,980 yen, and that is about $15 off a Hobby Link right now. So finally on to the meat of this video, the actual flesh that we need to tear into and what is actually coming out. So we're getting 2 Master Grade Verkas next year. One is a little bit of a rehash, one is new, but both look solid and awesome. First up is the Sinanju Stein narrative version Verka. Now you might be thinking, there's already a Sinanju Stein out there. Yes, there's a Sinanju Stein Master Grade, a Sinanju Stein Narrative Gundam Master Grade, and a whole bunch of different Sinanjus. Well, there's 2, OVA and Verka. Now, these are great kits. There was a couple of kind of hiccups in the early days. My original Sinanju Verka kind of fell to pieces. The OVA is apparently a little bit better. The Sinanju Stein I found absolutely flawless and beautiful. That's the white one. And the Sinanju Stein Narrative was an absolutely fantastic kit with one real letdown, and that is that the sleeves, iconography, the little white bits on its chest and its arms were not color separated, so you had to use stickers or paint them yourself. But it was still a super well engineered, fantastic kit. I gave it gold tier back in the day, and I don't even think Platinum and Gundarium existed back then, so I gave it pretty much top marks. But what makes this one different to the one, that we saw before? So first off, you do actually get some Zoltan pilot figures. So that is a, standing up one and one for in the cockpit. Of course, they don't come in color, paint them yourself, but that did not exist with the last one. The weapons are all the same as we saw before, except for this beam glaive right there. That is new for this kit. And this is such an important release that Bandai has actually made a page specifically for it. So you can check out the narrative and the Sinanju Stein. I got this link straight off of Bandai's Twitter, and this will tell you pretty much all about it. So the points that it says here is we do actually have color separated parts for the various sleeves iconography. Now it is a little bit hard to tell from here, but it looks like there might be some silver parts coming through from underneath. Now I know this is a retooled kit, but I don't know to what degree. Apparently it says that the aesthetics are updated for the Gundam NT look. For example, in the Gundam NT anime, or should I say, the Sinanju Stein narrative version, the Master Grade came out before the anime, so this one's been retooled to look a little bit more like the actual anime. Lastly, then you do have that beam glaive, which was in the anime, but not included with the older Master Grade Sinanju Stein. So yeah, this, like it's shown right there, is a kit based on a kit based on a kit. And the original Master Grade Sinanju that it's all based on must have came out in 2010 or 11. So even though this is a 13-year-old kit at its core, maybe 14 years, the Sinanju has always been an absolute perfect beast besides some plastic issues earlier on. But this is bound to be a fantastic Master Grade. So this right here will be releasing in June at 8,800 yen. Over on Hobby Link, this costs $66.53, and if you do want it and you want it fast, you need to get your pre-order in super soon, by the way. I've already got mine. And finally on to what is going to be, at least from what we've seen so far, the biggest release of 2024, which is the Master Grade Narrative Gundam C-Packs Verka. Now this right here is definitely an exciting kit. It's cheaper than the Sinanju Stein at 7,700 yen, $58 off of Hobby Link, and this is out in April. So this will be no April Fools, hopefully, and will be a good kit. There's a lot to say about this. There's a specialty page for this too, but some things worth mentioning: pilot figure, fully transforming core block. Now that is pretty cool. Of course, Katoki would bring it to this level. Hopefully it'll be nice and solid, but it definitely looks beautiful. And overall, this looks gorgeous. Now don't get, too distracted by the fact this is C-Packs, because you may need to be buying 2, maybe 3 of this kit. The reason for that being is here on the specialty page, and that is the fact that there's a lot about this that is quite interesting. So, number 1 point, Psycho Plate has some gimmicks to it. So this is nicely designed, but the most interesting aspect is going to come a little bit later down. Actually, there's 2 very interesting aspects about this particular Psycho Plate. Like we mentioned already, there is the Core Fighter, which is completely transformable into the core block. And even though this is the C-Packs, there's a little bit more to this actual narrative Gundam. So first off, this looks absolutely astounding. Katoki has designed this in such a gorgeous way. There's a lot of details here on the actual Bandai Hobby site website about the designing, the intricacies of the Psycho Plate. It is really, really cool. The transforming Core Fighter, so much has been put into this to make sure it's anime accurate and an absolutely gorgeous kit. Now, one thing that's pretty cool about the Psycho frame, there is 2 colors of the runner included. That, of course, is the one that is not activated in a nice gray, and the activated one, which is in that very Gundam Unicorn pink. So you have a choice. Therein is an almost reason to have 2 of these, because that's going to be hard to choose from. I definitely like the look of the deactivated version. The NTD off looks pretty cool. There's a bit of an image of what all those parts look like, again looking spectacular. One cool kind of lore aspect about the narrative Gundam is the fact that these are the Psycho plates transplanted off of the Unicorn Gundam. Because like it says up here, you had your new Gundam in UC 0093, Unicorn Gundam was in UC 0096, and this is from the year after. It is a prototype predating the new Gundam, but they have taken the Psycho plate off of the Unicorn Gundam and popped it onto this. And speaking of which, it's fucking compatible with the Master Grade Unicorn Gundam. Now I will mention, this is not the Master Grade Extreme, which is a little bit sad. This is the standard, not so great Master Grade Unicorn Gundam. But it does mean you're actually able to, the parts are done the same. That is ridiculous. From a design perspective and a compatibility across lines perspective, that is so cool. Now, I'm assuming you can just put one on the other, and vice versa. Means that you could probably go out and get a perfectibility, put some blue Psycho plate on the Unicorn Gundam, but what it's shown here is the gray deactivated Psycho plate on Unicorn, which is pretty cool. So yeah, what's there to say? It's absolutely anime accurate, the articulation looking great, a lot going on inside of it, and so far, Verkaz have gotten to the point where they're not as kind of flimsy as they used to be. There's so much design of the rifle looking great, all the different variations of where you can stick the equipment, so this is definitely one that may need a couple of purchases. The stickers in here are those plastic style ones. These look different from any I've seen before. They look like they have detail actually molded into them. I don't know why we've got 2 of each. The twin eye here, maybe it's a little bit different because the head cameras can be flat or a little bit of a camera look inside of it. Main camera, scope on the Jegan rifle that I guess comes with it as well. So yeah, these look incredible. That is really nice. Use of plastic stickers, some more detail of the design. So much went into it. There's the sheet of decals, thankfully not the usual giant Katoki sheet. And there is so many images of what this looks like. And what can I say? Go check it out yourself if you want to see a little bit more about it. But what can I say? Absolutely fantastic looking. Once again, this is coming out in April, so not that far away. And at less than $60, this looks to be extremely exciting. Anyway, that is it for the video. Once again, all the pre-orders you can grab through that link down there. Be quick or they will be gone, or you'll end up in a queue and not get them through the first release because Bandai kits are a little bit hard to get these days. Anyways, always thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what are you the most excited about out of everything being released? I'm going to assume it's the Master Grades, of course. But yeah, as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and all of these awesome people right here who help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including 10 Soldier YT, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Dashil Marmion, Golel Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, or G95061, 10 Soldier YT again, and Van Fawn.